Hello, everyone. It's Captain Jackpot. I know we haven't seen each other in a while. That's fine. Um, so basically, listen, I wanted to do a video, right? I've been feeling it again, and uh, I just don't know how to begin it, right? Sorry, my hair keeps getting in the way. I just don't know how to start this video, so it's me, right? Already said that, but anyways. Oh yeah, I know what the title is gonna be, so I'll just begin it like this. I'll just just forget about what I said. Let's get comfortable, and I'll begin. What I want to talk about. So last year, since it's 2026 now, last year I played Dark Souls for the very first time at the beginning of last year, so early 2025. That would be, I think, February, or it was March, something along those months, because I think I played God of War Ragnarok on February, and at the end of that month I played Dark Souls 1 remastered. Now, I'll be honest, I pirated it. I am a pirate after all, you know. So I did pirate it, the game. So there's that, but I don't really care. Honestly, if anything, I want to buy the game now, normally. So there's that. Kind of like a free demo of, of the entire game. So even the DLC doesn't matter. Anyways, I played through the game. I loved it. I think I think the game is very magical, and what I mean by that is that there's something specific about Dark Souls 1 that just feels magical and is just not uh, not present in Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, or any other FromSoft game. And speaking of those games, so I played Dark Souls 1 early 2025. Then, through like half the year went by of 2025, I played Dark Souls 2 for the very first time. It's very difficult, but I got used to it. I liked it. Honestly, I did. I love the game. I would say I love the game. It's not bad. It's just you gotta get good, man. You gotta get good. Anyways, and then I played Dark Souls 3. This was actually in December, last month basically, of recording this video right now. So last month I played that, and I I had low expectations, I'll be honest, but I loved it. I loved every single second of it, dude. It was so cool. It was actually in some boss fights I was actually stuck, which didn't happen since DS1. I was actually really stumped on like Pontiff Solomon, until I actually looked up a guide because I was so frustrated by the fact that I was rolling so much, but I still couldn't just get couldn't get ahead or anything. So I watched a guide, or basically every guide was telling you to parry him. You could parry him for target shield or fist or whatever the fuck. And I did that a couple of times. But around phase two, I don't really parry him because it's a little bit difficult when his clone is beside him. But whatever, I beat him anyways. Moving on. So 2025 is basically the year where I fell in love with the Dark Souls series, and I would say it was basically the best decision I've ever made in my life. I know, it's redundant at this point. I've seen several YouTube videos where people talk about, oh, it's the Dark Souls cured my depression, or Dark Souls is this with psychology and all that. Like it's a very influential game because basically the hollowing mechanic in Dark Souls is equivalent to depression and just losing all sense of purpose. And I resonate with that a lot because I also lost that. Okay, so I don't want to talk about depression, but instead I'll talk about something very actually unique to me, and I don't think anyone has ever done this before or had a similar experience. But I did see a video about Solaire. Now, as we all know, Solaire is a fantastic character, the most beloved character in most fiction, actually, not just the series, but fictionally. This is a such a great, put together character in a setting like Dark Souls. Now, everybody knows after you defeat the Taurus demon at the bridge, you are met with a man in a helmet wearing some actually stylish armor, not gonna lie, with a sun on his, with the symbol of the sun on the chest piece, and a helmet with a red feather on it, with also the armor piece having like sort of like grass type material on it on its shoulders, which is also a neat detail that I don't think anyone really, most people don't mention. It's a little bit silly, but I like it. Anyways, oh, sorry, my hair is like. Give me a moment. Hold on. I got a brush over here. Anyways, sorry. Now this character, right? How this correlates to my life is actually very, very important. Solaire of Astora is a character, is a guy that is met during the basic realization of Dark Souls, of its lore and its game itself. Basically, you're in this world that's really like screwed. It's very dark. It's very horrible in a realistic sense. Imagine you being in a Dark Souls, universe. It's fucked up. And you're met with this guy who's literally the jolliest person that there has ever been, ever. Like, this is the most kindest, most heartwarming character in almost any fiction I've ever seen. He is so nice. He's cooperative. Oh God, cooperative. See what I did there? Anyways, he's so nice. He's jolly. He's kind. I already said that, and he's strong. He's strong in the sense of um that he's in such a dark place, but he's willing to continue. He's willing to endure. He's willing to stay optimistic about things. Okay, back to my life. When I was 5 years old, my parents divorced basically. Uh, and when they divorced, my dad at the time needed someone to like watch me, to take care of me because he went to work, and when he was at work, there was no one to look after me. So my dad had this friend that was a girl, and she would come over. I don't know actually. Well, I think, well, not every day, but it was like whenever he worked. So she would come over, look after me, give me food and all that, right? But the distinctive, sorry, I can't say that word. Distinctive thing about her was that she was so sweet and and kind, so kind. I didn't realize it at the time, but I slowly grasped onto her. I slowly realized this, and she was so freaking nice. And nice is such an understatement. She was kind. I mean, she was an angel. I don't know how to describe her better. I'm trying to find the words. And my God, I love this person, and I grew up with this person for about 10 years, right? Until I was 15. I knew this person like the back of my hand, and I knew, and she was like in her 50s, right? And it was so fun. She was kind to me. I met her family, even her family came over. we hung out, we talked, and we were being silly because I was like a small child, and we celebrated together my birthday and all that. And that was the best, my birthday being celebrated. I mean, I don't do that anymore as much, but when I was little, it meant a lot to me, especially with her. And long story short, I loved her more than my own family, and I saw her as family. I felt I belonged in her family more than my own because my parents were divorced when I was 5 years old, which is really early for a kid like me, and there were so many problems at the time with my mother and my grandma, my real grandma, and and my dad. My dad is. Uh, I'll be so sincere right now, and I won't. I don't usually say this, but my dad is a horrible person. He is such a bad fucking person. I could not make it more clear. The shit he has done, he has ruined lives. He has made cause problems. He has never he to you, and you say sorry when you really feel bad, or when you feel like you did wrong and you need to be the bigger man and apologize. Back to her. Not this lady, right? In her 50s. I love her more than my own family. Uh, and overall, just an amazing person. Most loving, kind-hearted person that there ever will be. I mean, once in a lifetime. I'm being so dead ass. And I loved her so much. I could not fathom into words. There are not enough words for love in the dictionary that I can tell you people how much I loved her. My mom, yes, she did care about me. She did take care. She bought me things. She did things for me. But she was not kind with her words, and she wasn't fun like her. And I know that sounds so rude to talk about my mother like that, because I love her. I really do. Like nowadays, it's okay. It's always been okay with me and her. I'm just saying that back then, what she should have really told me that she loved me. She should have made it clear. Unlike the lady, I'll call her Galina. Now Galina was very sweet. That I was of course said that. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking. Her name was Galina, right? Or Gala for short. It's a foreign name, so of course it sounds a little bit odd, but yeah, Galina. Well, this is difficult for me to say, but I hope I'm not gonna cry in today's video. I felt like crying. I haven't cried in like a year probably. I've got a lot of emotions pent up, like filled in here in my heart. It's very difficult. So when I when I was little, when she took care of me, and when I grew up, I basically grew up with her. I realized her hair uh, got worse. Her hair was falling out. It was becoming more gray, more white, and a lot of her hair actually fell out. And back then, when I was little, right, when I was a young child, I thought that was normal for old people to have, right? I thought that was pretty normal. It was just okay. Well, she's getting older, so it's like 7 p. It's almost 8 p.m. I'm sorry. I'll continue. She was getting older, and that was my conclusion. That was my answer. What I didn't know that I was very wrong. Actually, it was much worse. Um, I knew her for 10 years, and turns out she had cancer. She died when I was 15. I realized, oh, she's not joking. But subconsciously, I did say that, oh wow, I'm so sorry. Or like, I was like in shock, but also subconsciously, I half believed it. The other half, I didn't believe it. So like the emotions didn't get to me. I didn't feel anything. So I did my usual thing. I was gaming. I was like, I'm sorry, right? I'm sorry that maybe I should have taken a break, but I was 15. First of all, second of all, I didn't even believe it. I didn't half believe it. So there's that. So that's my fault for having fun. you know Instead of focusing on what just happened, or what or comforting that person or whatever, I started gaming the next like day. Of course, when she told me the news, I wasn't like playing games or doing stupid shit, but the next day and the next week, and I did the same thing. Now her funeral, this is the worst part. Her funeral was, like any other funeral. It was very sad. It was a very serious moment, and her entire family was there. Some people that I have never seen, some people that I've heard of, like her friends, I think, strangers that, actually, like liked her, or I also her son that I've heard about. I didn't know much about the son, but he's just one of those family members that just, you don't really hear about much. And I didn't cry at all. Now I know that sounds bad, and it probably is, but I didn't cry at all. I was in shock. I was shell shocked, one could say, and I didn't know what to think about it. I was standing right next to her casket, and she was laying there like this. And when I got home, of course, I waited for my dad to leave. He was going to work even on the funeral day, which is a little bit fucked up. But when I was alone, I stayed up until midnight. And at midnight, I know this is gonna sound a little bit corny or embarrassing, or however you want to call it, but I cried my eyes out. I No, not even eyes. I cried my soul out. I have never cried so much ever since that day. I have never, ever, ever had my shirt soaked in tears. I had never had my nose so stuffed I couldn't even use it anymore from crying alone. It was the moment I realized she was gone. It was the moment I figured out she is not coming back. And I felt so horrible. I it's like a part of my soul just left my body. Like she was my soul. Like a huge chunk of it that belonged there was because of her. And because she was gone, it just it it's like if somebody grabbed it and just crushed it so hard, it just vanished. It obliterated. This happened during summer break, when I was a summer break of eighth grade. Yeah, of my eighth grade. When eighth grade ended, I had my summer break, and in my summer break, she died. When ninth grade began, when I came back to school and you had to do your usual thing like everybody else, I gave up. I basically gave up. I could have done better. I'm not saying I got F's or really bad grades or anything like that. By the way, I'm European, so we don't have F's. I'm just saying that just in case somebody doesn't understand what I'm talking about. Now, I could have done better that year. Of course I have. But I was just so hard. I was I have never felt so depressed during that time. I have I felt like I was crippled. I felt like I just got crippled. And I was crawling. I was crawling basically through that year. And I believe I almost did attempt suicide at one point. I did almost. I didn't just search up how to do it. Well, first of all, I never even did that in the first place. I never searched up how to do it. I never you know, uh, thought about it so hard, so much before than that day when she died throughout that year. And it's even worse because my dad is a piece of shit that deserves to burn in hell. So through that, it was the most toughest year I had to endure as a 15-year-old. It was so difficult. Not only did I have basically a great depression from the loss of a loved one that I loved, the only person that I ever talked to, that was my only friend, that was my real family, that felt like my real family, died. I had a great depression from that. Second, my home was so shit. It was so shit. I'm sorry I'm cursing a lot now, but I just want to let all these emotions out. My home sucked. Every day I would wake up, my dad would do some shit that would really just ruin my mood. I'm not talking about like the fact that he would. I'm not saying like my dad would ignore me or anything like that. He doesn't even ignore me. Instead, he does much worse. I wish he ignored me. I wish he ignored me. But instead, he would say some really bad stuff to me. He would do some stuff to me like mentally, not physically. But sometimes it did happen to be physical, but I always fought back. Anyways, I'm okay. Just to be clear, I'm okay. And he did a lot of bad stuff, mentally. He is psychologically, it just wasn't good, especially to the fact that that was her friend. That was his friend, and this is the way he's treating me after the death of your friend and basically the person that I ever loved so much as family. You're a piece of shit. Anyways, my home sucked. Every day I would wake up. It There was a 50-50 chance where I would wake up normally and go to school, or the other 50 where he would do something that would just ruin me for the day. It would just I just didn't have the energy for it. He was like a vampire sucking my blood. He sucked the energy out of me. So whenever I woke up, it was bad, and whenever I came back at home, it was also bad. It was also a 50-50 chance he would do some shit. He's so fucking weird. I swear, it's almost like as if he had a multi personality disorder. But I can assure you, he does not. He's just he's deranged, but he's definitely doesn't have a disorder or anything like that. I know he's got OCD, but that's very different to just like being rude to people or being an asshole to your only son. Anyways, whenever I came back home, it was also bad. It was also 50-50. But not only that, so I would wake up, I would get yelled at, I would get accused of the smallest things, and I would go to school, and I would get even more scolded by the teachers. Some teachers. So there was one good teacher, or no, two good teachers in the entirety of school. Except for those two, I got scolded, scolded by my teachers. and I took it really close to my heart because they were saying things like, "Oh, you aren't trying hard enough," or "You're just lazy," "Oh, you're so I think useless." One time I heard, or maybe multiple times I heard it. I don't know, but it was definitely those three. There was probably more, but and and then after that I came back home to deal with even more shit. And it's like, it's not like I didn't want to try. It's like I was so in the beginning of 2025 I played Dark Souls 1. And but before I did that, I was at a really fucked up place with my mother. We both suffered in a place. I won't be too specific, but in a place, in a building, and we were stuck there. Not like we weren't like stuck like as in like, we couldn't get out of it, but because we had to wait for something, or to get out. It was kind of like, it wasn't jail, but it was something else entirely, and I don't want to mention it because it's a little bit awkward and embarrassing for me. But we're in a place for 3 months, and we were very isolated in like this square, one square room, and we barely ate. I mean, I barely ate. I think she ate pretty well and she slept, but I and her, we barely ate and we barely slept. It was so difficult to sleep in that place, and for 3 months I was like that. And I witnessed Christmas Day, Thanksgiving in that place. I think so. Thanksgiving? No, probably just Christmas. Wait, 3 months. Sorry, it's my cat. For 3 months, right? I was in that place, and I suffered. Me and my mother suffered so much. It was so difficult. It was the worst. It was the worst time. Almost, actually no, second worst time of my life. The first worst is when the lady that I loved, like my family, died. Anyways, when we got out, we came back, and it was all. This was all my. I'm trying so hard. It's so tough. When I when I got to the final part of Los Angeles, where Solaire is, I was a little bit concerned about Solaire. He was actually sad for the first time ever. He couldn't find his son, and it was concerning. But literally after that interaction, the next time you see him, canonically, he's taken over by this bug, this chaos bug, I think it's called, or something like that. This bug in the hallway after the Titanite demon, yes. And I hate how similar they are. Galina and Solaire of Astora. They I'm sorry that I'm gonna put it this way, but they both died. Both of them are the most sweetest, kindest people. They are the light to the darkness that is our world. They inspire me. I want to be like Solaire of Astora. He I every Solaire of Astora and Galina is everything I ever want to be. I look at them I look at them like my icons, like they're my heroes. And it's just, ever since she died, nothing has been the same. Almost. I mean, it's getting a little bit better now, but it's just, she really meant a lot to me, and she did a lot. And when she was gone, she couldn't do anything, right? She died. And it was all because of my dad's fault as well. I learned not so long ago. because my dad was such a bad person and he would usually put a lot of stress on people. Well, it got to her, and her cancer took over her body. She died. And I think is grief is by far one of the best and worst thing. No, one of the worst and best things that has ever happened to me. When you go through grief, not only are you grieving that person or thing, but after a certain time, grief leads to change. And that's where usually people change their lives and they do better and they get better. Stop. Sorry, it's my cat. I'm sorry that, sometimes I take a long pause. I'm just thinking about things. Again, I didn't know how to start this video, and now I'm looking at the timer and it's 43 minutes long now. I was not expecting this. Please stop. Sorry, my cat is just doing so many things. It's almost like Miyazaki knew me before I knew them. It's like Miyazaki. Stop it. It's like Miyazaki knew my life, and he put this character in the game to literally remind me that, hey, this person existed, and you loved this person. You loved this person so much, and I know you will love Solaire as well, and I do. Solaire is my favorite character of all time. He's in the top 10, I would say. Okay, he's in the top 10 of characters, and he's awesome. He's so awesome, and I want to be just like them. They inspire me. They are my heroes. They are my family. Well, Galina was. I don't have any friends. I think I've already said that in a different video. But just because I don't have friends does not mean I don't want to be kind to people. Does not mean I don't want to be nice. Does not mean I don't want to help others. I every day have a goal, a little goal that I keep subconsciously to do something good. Not because I want to get good karma out of it, not because somebody told me to, but because I feel like if I want to be real, if I want to feel real as a person, that's what I do, because that is what I want. I want to be real and kind and genuine. I think, okay, that's the same thing as real, but I want to be real and kind. And if that makes me a loser, then so be it. I've dealt with so much shit. All I have ever known is pain and misery. But all I ever want to give back is kindness from the bottom of my heart. She always does this, I'm sorry. Whenever I'm talking, she always reacts to it, and she does something to like distract me. I don't know why. Just because I am in pain does not mean I don't want to not love people. I will always love people. I will always try to like someone. I will always look at people as equals. If there is something that would benefit another person and I had the option to take it, I would give it to that said person. I would. I'm not saying I'm better than people, but I am trying to do better than most people. So yeah. And Solaire Of Astora, one of my top 10 characters, I would say. Uh, Dark Souls 1. No, I would just the character. The character of Solaire is just like a reminder of my life that I had with her and how I can be better, and how I can grow stronger and not go hollow and give up, because I don't want to. I don't ever want to be rude to people. I don't ever want to be mean to someone. I literally don't ever want to hurt anyone. I have no enemies, man. I don't. I want to be kind. I want love to exist. I want a connection so deep that they know I'm a I'm the right person to be around with. So yeah. Anyways, this video is too long. I feel like I'm gonna cut it a little bit, but this video is reaching 50 minutes now, and yeah, I just wasn't expecting I was gonna talk this long. I mean, it has been a while, so yeah. Don't worry, guys. I'll try to make more videos. I only did this because I'm home alone. And yes, this is a different place, different building. So yeah, I'm getting my life together. So yeah, see you guys. I hope you have a lovely day. Peace.